well-behaved women rarely make history. I guess that's why I'm a history maker. Many times over. Some have actually referred to me as a troublemaker, an angry black woman, unruly, and a few other names I probably shouldn't repeat from the well. But the adjective, unruly, is defined as disruptive, not amenable to discipline or control. That would be me. The late Congressman John Lewis characterized the unruliness of status quo disruptors like me as good trouble. I love that. Anne Helen Peterson says, to be an unruly woman today is to oscillate between the postures of fearlessness and self-doubt, between listening to the voices that tell us we're too much, and our own voices whispering and yelling, I'm already enough, and always have been. While serving in this chamber over the last 8 years, I've listened much more than I've talked. I've observed some things that have uplifted and inspired me, and other things that, quite frankly, I wish I could unsee. I've called out hypocrisy on both sides of the aisle, shared some truths about my own journey that I never imagined I'd share publicly. It was while serving in this chamber that I disclosed that in 2015, after the Mother Emanuel massacre and losing my granddaddy, I suffered a stroke and believed that the stress of serving in the House at the time was likely to blame. So after 6 years of service, I was planning to not run for re-election. But my sister Tracy often reminds me that if I want to make God laugh, tell him my plans. So when the Senate seat came open, I was months into physical therapy and frequent doctor's visits. And yes, I knew the people needed my voice, but I didn't feel physically strong enough to run for the Senate. So I prayed and asked God to show me. And as always, he did. I was elected to the Senate in 2016. Coming into this calm, deliberative body was very different from the environment that I was accustomed to in the House. Senator Tedder and I were just talking about that yesterday. I used to joke that I basically had to unlearn everything I had learned over there. The rules were different, the people were different, the processes and the politics were different. And yet, the challenges facing the people of House District 79 and Senate District 22, both originally swing districts, were the same. The senator from Williamsburg, Senator Sabb, Senator from Clarendon, Senator Kevin Johnson, and the senator from Greenville, Senator Tom Corbin, were all members of my freshman class in the House. And they seem to have adjusted pretty well over here in the Senate, so I thought, okay, I can do this. Little did I realize that I'd meet new friends and sisters for life in this body. Although I was part of a great freshman class here in the Senate that includes the senator from Fairfield, Senator Mike Fanning, that all of you know I affectionately refer to as my BFF here in the Senate, because he is, and I'm truly going to miss you. And you will not make me cry as well today. Another very special member of my freshman class is my sister senator, the senator from Charleston, Senator Sin, who I had heard was feisty, just like me. And I actually took it as a compliment. I think it was meant, considering the person who told me that, I believe it was meant to be a compliment. Now, I see that all 5 of us are feisty. Well, now all 6 of us are feisty. I was somewhat familiar with the senator from Lexington, Senator Shealy, from my years in the House where I served on the Joint Children's Committee and worked with her on issues that impact children and families that both of us are extremely passionate about, like domestic violence and teen dating violence. But I didn't know my other sister senator, the senator from Colleton, at all back then. But that changed when I got sworn in. I had a swearing in ceremony before session began in January, that November, and I was looking back at my swearing in program and reminiscing yesterday. That was the day that a beautiful spirit drove all the way from the low country just to meet me, pin me, and welcome me into this body. So, what you may not know is that I actually have 2 BFFs in this body. My other Senate BFF is Senator Marcia Wright Matthews. And since that day, we have truly been sisters, almost inseparable. No matter what, I know that the 2 of you will always have my back. And I love you. In 2018, when an outpatient knee surgery left me with blood clots in my leg that traveled to my lungs, my Uncle Gary, who is standing in the back of the room today, looked at me in my hospital bed and gently said, "This is it, right? We're not running anymore, right?" I said yes. But again, God had other plans. And what I learned from that near-death experience was that obedience is far, far greater than sacrifice. So I ran for the Senate again in 2020. And 2 years later, for governor. And if a DVT and a PE didn't kill me, there's no politics or politicians who could. I realized that if God was for me, then who could be against me? Then in 2020, the senator from Kershaw, Senator Henry Gustafson, was elected. I think I was still on crutches then, as I had been for about a year and a half. But I was feeling better and stronger than ever. It didn't take the 5 of us sisters long to get to know one another because of all the time we've spent talking, laughing, and venting, often in our own sister senators' chambers, AKA the ladies' room. Then shopping and eating and even traveling some together, and not necessarily in that order. But the 5 of us have come to know, understand, and support each other, because as different as we are, personality-wise and politically, our fights as women and for women is the glue that binds us. And after winning the JFK Profile and Courage Award last year, a global honor that before the five of us, only 60 people in the world had received, I can't even begin to describe how it feels to be recognized for political courage with the same award and distinction that U.S. Senator John McCain, Congressman John Lewis, President Barack Obama, Congresswomen Liz Cheney and Gabby Giffords, and my mentor and friend, former South Carolina Governor David Beasley, received. So yeah, today it's bittersweet because I'll miss all of you on both sides of the aisle. I know you might not believe that. But you too. Right? Senator from Spartanburg. I had to listen intently yesterday to remember that your real name in this body is Senator from Spartanburg and not Lieutenant. And that's our private joke. And we don't, let's just say, you know, we don't agree on much. Okay. We don't agree on anything politically. But what I love about you, Senator from Spartanburg, is that a few years ago, you stood up for me on the floor, on the Senate floor. And it may not have meant as much to you, but it meant the world to me, and I will never forget it. And what I also appreciate about you, Senator from Spartanburg, is that when you give your word, you keep it, and that matters. Mr. President, it occurred to me a few weeks ago during our joint assembly to elect judges that your job has gotten a lot harder. I would dare say it's probably because of Richland County. And what I love about you, Mr. President, is that you try to be fair. You're consistently kind and respectful, and you're not afraid to lead. Senator from Charleston. Well, now, before I get to Senator from Cherokee. Senator Peeler. Chairman Peeler. I don't serve on Senate Finance, but your door has always been open to me. And even after I announced that I wasn't running for re-election, you kept my budget request in the budget. And I so appreciate that. I appreciate you. I'm going to miss you. Senator from Orangeburg, Senator Hunter, our minority leader. You came to me on the day I announced I was leaving the Democratic Party and invited me to continue to caucus with the Senate Dems, and I have. Thank you. I will miss you and members of our caucus a lot. Senator from Richland. You didn't think I was going to leave you out, did you? Woo! Senator Jackson. I'm sure you were hoping. Sorry to disappoint you. In 2020, You did something I haven't seen anyone else in our caucus do in the 8 years I've been here. You were the ranking Democratic member of our Medical Affairs Committee and gave up your seniority and your seat so that I could serve on the committee and have an even bigger voice on the issues that I care so deeply about. I give you a hard time, and yeah, you deserve it. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Senator from Lawrence, is he in here? Don't see him. Chairman Burton. He went out of his way just a few weeks ago to be supportive and helpful to me. He made sure that my Senate resolution was immediately adopted and ready to read when my guests arrived here in the Senate gallery. I appreciate that. Senator from Horry, Chairman Rankin, I don't see him. There's Senator Burton. Thank you. I was just saying thank you to you. Senator from Horry, Chairman Rankin, my chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I'm definitely going to miss serving on the Judiciary Committee, and he always says or does something to make me laugh, no matter how tough my day has been. Senator from Berkeley, Senator Grooms, Chairman Grooms. I recently made my way back to your committee, the Transportation Committee, and just this week, you made sure that my Gamecock WBB license tag bill was adopted here in the Senate. Twice, I think. Which allowed me to be the primary sponsor of all 3 national championship license tag bills that have now become South Carolina law and adopted by both chambers in 2017, in 2022, and in 2024. Thank you. I have enjoyed serving on Senate Medical Affairs, Judiciary, Transportation, Corrections and Penology, Family and Veteran Services for a while, Rules, although I'd like to change some rules, but that's another story for another day. And I appreciate all of your leadership and your service. Senator from Beaufort, Senator Davis, thank you for just your ability to explain things in such great detail, for always being prepared, always going the extra mile to prove your case here in this chamber. I've learned so much from you, and I appreciate the support and your friendship over the years. And that's not everybody. I can't get to everybody today. But before I take my seat, I want to thank Jeff, our clerk, Ken, and all of our Senate clerk staff, all of our committee staff, all of our Senate staff. Amanda. We've been together a long time, longer than this Senate, but I love you, and I will miss you terribly. Melanie, Felicia, Mia, Moses, thank you for always having our backs and giving us the support we need to do what we need to do. Thank you. Chuck! Richard! Where's Richard? Oh, Richard. Richard asked me earlier when I got here, he said, so you're going to say good things about me when you do your farewell. He said, you gonna play it up a few notches, right? And I said, of course. But Chuck, Richard, Ronnie, Wayne, and Chip, I probably have bugged y'all the most. But I love all of our Sergeant at Arms team, especially you guys. I've never asked anything of you that you didn't hesitate to do, and I just appreciate y'all so much for everything. Thank you. That doesn't mean that I don't love Jackson and Lawrence and Aaron and Ryan and Jose and Sheldon and Justin, Kelly, Michael. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. Oh, Turquoise and Jesse. We see you, and we're glad you're here. Sherry. Sherry is my assistant, who I love. And I can't thank you enough for all you do to take good care of my sweet mate, the senator from Florence, and me, and our constituents. I love and appreciate you for answering my call and having the faith and courage to say yes to a totally new position in a totally different and sometimes crazy environment than the one you were accustomed to at DNR. I hope you don't regret it. Mr. Reading Clerk, I could not take my seat because I remember the day you took the stairs. I was sitting in the gallery because of COVID, and you took 3 flights of stairs during the height of the pandemic, just to let me know that although my opponent's TV ads used a clip of you calling the roll, and they pointed to my empty chair and used my name as an acronym to say I was missing in action.
In my head, wow.
You wanted me to know that you saw me here in this body every day. I may have been late, but I was here. And I thank you that you have no idea what that meant to me, what it meant to me that you cared enough to do that. I'll never forget you for your kindness and compassion to me in that moment. I'm not sure if the chaplain is still here, but I want to thank him for always taking the time to engage in conversations with me, for his kind and thoughtful notes of encouragement, and for bringing God's Word to life every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to remind all of us of why we're here and how we should treat one another inside and outside of this chamber. It was at this well that I shared publicly for the first time that I know the pain and the trauma of being sexually assaulted. At a time when there were 41 men in this chamber and only 5 of us. Some male colleagues, they meant well, but they wondered why I felt the need to share my pain publicly, knowing that not one heart, not one vote would change. In that moment, I wasn't even sure myself why God led me to share it. But before I could even leave this chamber, God showed me why. It was to liberate others as well as myself. And not just others who are outside of this state house. That day, I became acutely aware that there are many among us, female and male, who know my story all too well because it's their story too. When I think about the legacy I want to leave, several words come immediately to mind. Among them, courage, principled leadership, service. Why courage first? Because it takes courage to lead. It takes courage to stand on our principles and speak truth to power. It takes courage to put the interests of others above our own. Truth is, courage always costs us something. And my prayer for all of us in this room and under the sound of my voice is that we will always be willing to pay the price. Always choose courage.